Welcome to Better Money TV, a show devoted to sharing ideas, tools, and resources designed to help stimulate better thinking, better habits, and of course, better money. My name's Tommy and I'm your host, and today we're going to be talking about the 3 money buckets that help build wealth. In 2010, Allstate Insurance Company launched its Mayhem video campaign. Dean Winters, who I absolutely love, performed magnificently as Mayhem. He gave viewers a play-by-play to all the devastation that he was creating. Now, the videos were both devastating and comical, which made them an instant success across America. Now, while the Mayhem videos are entertaining, they do help us to teach what life can feel like without having appropriate safety nets in place. So to help avoid mayhem in your own life, let's review what I call the 3 money buckets to help build wealth. While these accounts aren't going to make you wealthy per se, they do help you keep the wealth that you've created for yourself in periods of financial hardship and economic downturn. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the first and most important bucket, your emergency fund. I just created a video on the emergency fund, which I'll put a link in the show notes below. But if you want to do a deeper dive into emergency funds, I recommend you to go check out that video. Now, in movies, there's often a burning building, right? People fearful for their lives end up jumping from that building to some unknown safety below. Now, are they crazy for jumping off this building? No. They see an inflatable jump cushion in the streets below and they jump, knowing that the air cushion is actually going to absorb the impact of their fall and that they're going to be able to walk away safely. Now, unfortunately, the hero in the story doesn't get such a cushion, right? By the time he or she helps everyone else escape and solves their problem, the fire gets ridiculously out of control. The hero then has to jump to an adjacent building, hoping to grab onto some emergency stairwell. In many situations, the hero either gets lucky or they tumble painfully into the streets below into a dumpster, right? Either way, they get seriously banged up. Now, with your finances, an emergency fund works much like that inflatable jump cushion. Its job is to help break a financial fall, and without it, many people, like the hero, end up tumbling to the streets below, banged up and broken. Without an emergency fund, people do some really silly things. They resort to debt, they borrow from their friends and family, and borrow from their own retirement accounts. Now, Dave Ramsey, who's an American author and radio show host, suggests building a minimum of $1,000 in your emergency fund. From there, you can supposedly tackle any other kind of debt that you might have. Now, as someone who's built and used an emergency fund, I can attest that this practice has helped me through several different tight spots. I've been able to pay for unexpected bills, repair my car, replace a broken water heater, and even repair a leaky roof, all without having to take on any kind of debt or resorting to borrowing money from friends and family. Now, before we build this emergency fund, I want to make sure that we lay some ground rules for using this money. So let's define what an emergency actually is and what it's not. So here are my rules for using money in your emergency fund. Rule number 1 is that emergency fund is for emergencies only. Now, I define an emergency as an event that would prohibit you from going to work, right? Such as a car breaking down, something that would create unsafe living conditions, such as that water heater going, or just simply has unpredictable costs attached to it that you can't pay for out of your own income. Now, not having enough money to go on a last-minute trip with your families and friends is not an emergency. Being short on cash for the holidays is not an emergency. But needing money to attend the funeral of someone that's really close to you is an emergency. Rule number 2 is that your emergency fund is not a backup account. It's actually your lifeline. If you routinely borrow money from this account for non-emergent things, you're going to find out that you're not going to be prepared for a real emergency. For this reason, I recommend using online banking for your 3 money buckets. Transferring money out of online banks is very easy. It usually takes a couple of days, which does give you a little extra time, but use that time for some critical thinking. You might not even need the money. Now, in real cases of emergencies, you can rest assured knowing that the money is going to be there for you. And once you use it, your priority is going to be to bring this account back up to that minimum $1,000 threshold. Money bucket number 2, your vacation fund. Now, this is where things start getting fun. Now, once your emergency fund is funded at that minimum $1,000 level, you can start directing money towards a vacation fund. Now, I save for vacations a little differently than most people that I know. I use a cash envelope budgeting system to pay for vacations and traveling. My wife are self-employed. We've been self-employed for quite some time, and our incomes can vary. In financially challenging years like the year that we're in right now with the coronavirus just running rampant across the world, we want to know that we have the peace of mind of getting away. And in financially successful years, we might wish to get away several times. In those situations, we'll have cash envelopes for each of those trips budgeted out. No matter what happens, I know that I have vacation prepaid by using my cash envelope. It includes designated spending money as well, such as drinking, eating out, spending money. Whatever your method is, I recommend starting a budget of saving, let's say, $40 a week or $80 bi-weekly. Schedule an automatic transfer out of your checking account to the bank account that you designated as your vacation fund, and in 12 months, you're going to have close to $2,000 to go on a debt-free vacation. Now, you can use your vacation fund money for one big trip, or you could go on several trips. It's up to you. I recommend getting away at least every 90 days. I like that kind of thing. It's psychologically, it's a nice reset for me. You can end up going somewhere close. You could have a staycation or just drive somewhere that's within driving distance. It's up to you. The third money bucket is your short-term goals fund. Now, after you have $1,000 in your emergency fund, you started automated transfers to your vacation fund. Now it's time to start thinking about your short-term goals fund. Now, a short-term goals fund makes sure that you have money for larger capital purchases within the next 5 to 7 years. Now, for example, I tend to get a new car every 5 to 7 years, as I'm sure most of us do. But the average car payment in America for 2019 was $554 for a new vehicle and $391 for a used one. Now, that's a lot of money if that's coming out of your paycheck. But if you had a down payment saved in your short-term goals fund and you were able to trade in your old car, your monthly payments could be a lot lower. A lower monthly payment means more freedom for you. You can make other financial decisions such as continuing to save or paying down debt instead of paying this higher car payment. Now, another use for this account could be for saving for a down payment on a home. If you need money in this account in just a few years, it might be smarter for you to keep the money in cash so that you don't have to worry about stock market fluctuations. Now, if you need help finding some money for your 3 money buckets, I've created a 30-day Money Finder challenge. It's helped hundreds of people build their money buckets as well as help them improve their overall finances and credit score. What you'll get from me is you'll get 30 days worth of financial tasks dripped to you daily through email. Most of these tasks only take 15 minutes, with the average person saving $500 by the end of the challenge. It's a huge success for you. I highly recommend you go in to sign up for that. So now I want to hear from you, okay? I want you to head on over to TommyMartin.com. I want you to leave me a comment. And while you're there, why don't you download one of my freebies, like my Money Mastery audiobook. It's absolutely free for you. Or you could download my 55 Smart Money Dates guide to help get your partner kickstarted into planning finances with you. One lesson that I've learned in all my years is that those that continually invest in themselves tend to do much better in life. That's it, guys. That's all I have for you. I wish you all the best. Please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me out tremendously. Until next time, I wish you all the best. Bye.